Hello, my class. On week 14, you were introduced to the Johair Window, and I have posted up 3 different videos all on the Johair Window, different speakers, slightly different information, and they are in the sequence in which I'd like you to watch them. It'd be like reading a chapter in a book. And the first one is from a Susie Finkelstein from Australia. I think she's from Australia. Yeah, and she and she is she has a very good introduction, and she gives you a brief overview of Joseph Luft and Harry Ingham and why it's called the Johair, and she also talks a little bit toward the end about the different styles of conversations you might have, and she talks about people who do not share a lot about themselves. Their open space is very small, and she calls them the ostrich. They keep everything in. And in some relationships, I've been the ostrich, and in some relationships, I've been the next one she talks about is talked about the lecturer, someone who's always just telling people things. And many times that can be a parent and child relationship where you find yourself constantly lecturing, or maybe a younger sister who you think is not taking the right path, and so you seem like your conversations are always lectured. And another style is the interviewer, and I've done this too. Like when my daughter was a teenager, I know our relationship was not open. We did not have rapport. I was the interviewer, like, where are you going? Who are you going with? When are you coming home? And it was all like interrogative statements, or questions, I should say. But it was all question, 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 question. But the best exchange with your relationships to build rapport is to have the give and take. And that's when you have more of an open space. So all of us have parts of us, just like the window pane of Johair says, open space, information we know about ourselves and others know about us, and an even exchange of details and experiences, and you really get to know someone. The other space, of course, is the hidden space, or Susie calls the facade, and that space is meant to be hidden. There's many things about myself, or maybe not many, I don't share with others because either I don't think it's germane to the relationship, or no one would be interested, or happened so far in the past. And, every one of us is entitled to our privacy for sure. And then you have the blind spot. And in the next video, this gentleman here talks about the blind parts of us, the parts of us that we don't think anyone can see, or we're not even aware of ourselves. I don't know if you've ever had a case where someone has said something to you, Joyce, you always do this or you always do that. And you say, no, I don't. But then you start hearing the same feedback from more than one person. You say, well, maybe I do. My daughter accused me most recently of being an overgiver. She said, every occasion you buy too many presents. You buy too many presents for me, for the girls, and I am on a quota system. No more than 2 presents, no more than 3 presents, no more than 1 present, depending on the holiday or the event. And I am an overgiver. And when I've thought about it, like, why do I do that? And it's mostly insecurity. I'm not sure if the first gift is going to be right, so I put a second gift instead of just having the security of knowing it's not the gift, it's the emotion and the intention of the gift. It's not the gift. And why do I feel so insecure? So it's interesting to see we all have a blind spot. And then, of course, the unknown. The unknown will fill out the quadrant, the 4 aspects: the open, the hidden, or the facade, the blind, and the unknown. The unknown is what we don't know. Before this pandemic happened, let's say in November of 2019, when we were just hearing about this virus, we had no clue that this pandemic was going to hit the United States. In fact, I said, it's not going to happen to us because we're the United States of America. We won't let it happen to us. And sure enough, it has. So how did you react during this pandemic? That was the unknown. How do you react with different relationships over time? How do you react? You don't know. So that's all to be in our future. So then, so each one of these speakers, like Keshav, the second one, is very good to get you back now, get to our ending, with Michael. And Michael has, I've included a PDF here of, he says 57 terms that's often used in Johari, descriptive terms. I've found a list at 56, doesn't matter. But the idea of descriptions, this happens to me quite often when I'm doing recommendations for students where I will be asked, think of 3 adjectives that describe this student and tell us why. And I've often looked at lists like this so that I can get some feedback for myself and start to feel like, what would that be? When you look at this list, of course, you have the quadrants here, the 4 parts of the Johari window, and then a list of adjectives. Now, you might look at that list and maybe you find 3 or what Michael is suggesting, 8 to 10, but you could do 3 to 5 of these that you say are definitely who you are. There's cheerful, bold, friendly, introvert, extrovert, empathetic, knowledgeable, logical, powerful, responsive, shy, spontaneous, sympathetic, trustworthy, warm. And many of these are attributes we would all like to have. But if you were just to pick a short list, 3 to 5, and say these are definitely who you are, you could also ask your family and friends to say, I need to think, well, of this list, what ones would describe me? And this would be information that would be in your open. So after you've watched all 3 videos and you say, okay, I'm catching on, you go on to the next week, which is the last week, and I have final exam options, which I'm opening up right now. And you find here, I say, Johari window, please post here. That's an option. If you would like to, for your final assignment, and this will be inclusive of your final exam, you will not do 2 final exams. You will not do the written final exam, which is the traditional exam, and this. But if you'd like to do another video, I would ask you to watch those 3 videos on the Johari window, think about yourself, and now, just like we did at the beginning of the class, where we introduced ourselves in an informal way, then a more formal way using the Myers-Briggs personality inventory, to do so with the Johari window. And when I gave this assignment last semester, maybe half my class took me up on it. Instead of taking the traditional final exam, they said, I'll do a video doing this. This was an assignment I had back in graduate school a long time ago, 45 years ago, where we were sitting in the classroom for the first time, and the teacher said, okay, instead of doing a traditional introduction for the class, I want each of you to take a minute, think of the 4 squares in the Johari window, and now tell us. Now, the unknown we could never talk about, and he really wasn't even encouraging us to give the hidden, but he wanted to talk about how open are we? What are adjectives would describe us? What would other people say about us? And did we ever have an opportunity to be told something that really did educate us about how people perceived us because we were blind to it? So we went around the room and did this, and it was a lot of fun. And oftentimes people aren't like they're not like they're not the first to compliment themselves, but you really do have to think. I'm a very positive person, but I also am a very nervous person. So sometimes my nervousness takes over and you don't see how positive and optimistic I am. And I would like that to come out more. People who know me know I have both parts to that. I'm not just one way all the time. Sometimes I'm very fearful and I have to talk myself out of that. And I've managed my anxieties. 30 some years ago, I had, I think, my last panic attack, which I'm very proud of. It's not here today. But I went through a period of time in my 20s of getting very panicky. And that's something that's in my open space to people who know me. So you're going to take 2 minutes to 7 minutes, no longer, and 2 minutes is suffice to say, okay, I'm thinking of my Johari window and thinking of me, and maybe look at that list. Of course, that list is not inclusive. You can add more adjectives to it. It was just a way of thinking about it to give you some structure. And say, this is who I am. This is who I am. This is a blind spot area that I recently discovered, maybe something you discovered about yourself because of the pandemic, and that's it. And you do not have to talk about your hidden parts. It's important for you to know your hidden parts and even to safeguard them. One of the big critiques of social media has been that we don't have enough hidden parts, that we expose too much disclosure. And sometimes too much disclosure in certain relationships can actually hurt the relationship because it can become confusing. I'm always a big believer of truth, but I also think that truth has to be tempered with your own personal feelings and your own common sense. Here we go. So I can tell you many examples of people who have hidden facts about themselves that later came out, and it was very startling to the person. There's a fine line between what you should say and what you shouldn't say in any given relationship. So so if you choose to post it, you're going to post it right here, and then down here, this is the voice thread that will contain all our other videos and that kind of thing. It's a great collection of our semester's work, and I'm very proud of you. You will see everybody's is in here, from Bruno to Kennedy to Charlene to Evan and Giovanni to Jessica to Kathleen to Teresa to Mary Kate and Anthony and Caitlin and Sandra and Evan again. And these are all the videos we've done. They're all in that collection. But you're going to post in where it says to post. So going back here. And going back to the final exam. So realize this is an option. You're this week, week 14. Is it week 14? You can see how confused I can get. Oh, we're at the end. And I'm great. And I'm sad to see it at the end because it always gives me a bittersweet feeling, because then I get very comfortable getting to know you, and I would wish there was a second half to this class, but there isn't, and you've earned your 3 credits and you move on. And the reason also I'm opening up, and I'll show you how I'm opening it up right now, right this second. I'm going to unhide the link. So now it is officially opened. So the final exam is open. Yeah, show link right there. Show link. So it's up. It's up, and you can get to it today after I post this video, of course. Is it up? Come on now. You can tell. Yeah, it's up. Why isn't it going up? I go to student preview. This is what teachers do. And they try to make sure they haven't made some blunder. Yeah, there it is. So right here is the final exam option. Option 1, post a video. Option 2, take the traditional final exam. And you might feel very comfortable just writing out your answers. You click it open, and then you begin it. And you do not send it in until it's completely done. You can save your answers as you go. But there's traditional questions. And this is the final exam that I've given in class. And I usually give 2 hours to do it. I'm asking you to go back to a Julian Treasure video. I'm asking you to talk about your listening habits. And you would have 1 to 2 paragraphs per answer. And then you just keep saving your answers. And then when you were entirely done with the 10 questions, you submit at the very end. So save all your answers, but then save and submit when you're really done. And you can take your time doing this. Everything is due by May 14th. And it's a hard stop because my grades go in and that ends it. So you'll have time. Today is May 4th, and you should have time in the next 10 days to go back and to now you can see that I'm here. Here I am. You can go back and you can review to see, did you get all your discussion boards? Did you get all your journals? Now, I do look at students who do it on time, and I was very conscious of the fact that the only way to do this as a group is to do it on time. But so many students have had problems, not just in this class, but in all my classes. I have 6 classes, and I am empathetic to all of them. And I am not doubting you when you say you had to work or you got sick or what you moved. And I'm like, okay. But the class is over May 14th. So now you'll have 10 days as of today to go back to make sure you've done everything you need so you can get the points. Now, the students that have been conscientious and have done it on time, I see everything is dated, and you will definitely get the credit for that. So don't think, oh no, I didn't have to do it on time and now everyone's getting it. I'm very aware that as a group we was meant to do it in an orderly fashion. So the students who've done that will be rewarded, but the students who aren't able to do that, you still have a chance to get a good grade. So don't think that it's over. It's not over. So to be clear, this week there was no assignment. It was just watching those 3 videos. Next week I said, okay, your final exam should be done. You have a choice. Johair Window video, introduce yourself vis-a-vis the Johair window, or take the traditional written final exam, or you do not have to do both. And I'm looking forward to the videos. I know somebody will do the video because I could see a comfort level for some of you and a talent and a skill set of doing videos where in your wheelhouse. And this is interpersonal speech, so I want to give you a chance. But those who are really prolific in writing, especially some of the journals were magnificent and content driven and very sincere and well thought out, you might enjoy doing the final exam. So for both skill sets, you're going to have time. This is built in extra time. This is built in. That was an exam that was given in a 2-hour exam period. Now you have time. The problem with having time is putting it off. We all can procrastinate, and we all have other things to do, all of us. This has been a very busy time. And, emotional sides to us, when we're ready to do things, having so much choice can be difficult. I will send you another video at some other point. We're not over yet with these little discussions, but I wanted to connect you as soon as possible to let you know that it's open and that if you want to, you can do your final exam this week. You do not have to wait till next week. Everything's due by May 14th. I wish you well. Take care of yourself and others, as Lester Holt says every night after his NBC nightly news, but it's such a good thing to say. Take care of yourself and others. Talk to you soon.